it'll be us. So first off, thanks guys for being here. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. Chris, it's been a while, so I'm glad to see you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So today, as always, we're gonna go through. It's actually a cool day today. You guys haven't gotten this email yet. Uh, but you're gonna get the email probably today, tomorrow. But we released a new version last night. So the updates we've been talking about, like about a third of them all got pushed last night to the platform, which
Mm.
I'm happy to announce. So I want to show you guys what it kind of looks like on the product, and then of course we'll open it up for questions, comments, concerns, as always, on using it better and how we can, make it all work.
Mm.
All right. Go ahead and pop open the product and show you guys what we're talking about here. If I can find it. Where's all of my? I gotta find all my stuff here. There we go. Okay. So this is the news version. So this is a white labeled version. So I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when we work with our corporate partners who want to use BrightInvestor for their organizations, and all those small companies like property manager companies, lending companies, real estate agents, and other organizations. They can take BrightInvestor and white label it. So this is an example of a partnership we're working on with Next Home Realty to bring it to their entire customer base. So you can see we change up all the coloring, we change up the logos, and it's completely branded to that person. So let's start off. What I'm going to showcase is when you're in the search deals section, this has been widely requested. You can now draw specific boundaries. So I think Chris, you mentioned this a long time ago, but we now have this in here. So while we're looking around, all you have to do is on search deals, you're doing your search boundary, click that and click draw. And now I can say, okay, I want to go here, 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 and here, and then do my search. And it will look for properties just in those boundaries. So we're pushing a hot fix for this morning to tweak a little bit more, but this is now available for people. And again, all you have to do is click down here and click draw boundary. The other component that is now available is when you guys are on inside the product and you click on, oh, no, something like this. So there's some updates that have been made here. One of which is on our rent comps section. So we have finally launched the first version of the rent comp adjuster. So now what we've done is we've taken every single rent comp from Rentometer that you normally see here, and we place them into this table. So you guys can now choose to turn on and off comps based on whether you think whether it's a good comp for your property. So maybe you know that property, maybe you know it is something that's updated, but you can also see all of the rent comps we're doing are all right here, and you can see how all of these are being listed out. And just like in sales comps, you can now toggle them on and off, and it will adjust the average and median pricing. If you want to generate new comps and get a whole new list, just like always, generate new comps, and then you can download your comp report right down here. But this is brand new and live today. And as you guys, like always, every time we do a new version, there'll be little tweaks that come up. So you should expect in the next week, and then probably the next 24 hours, we'll be releasing more little tweaks to this product as well. Okay. The other thing that is new is on the Bright reports that you guys generate, on the very bottom of those reports, when you guys can get your price per square foot, days on market, all that market research. Now, inside, whenever you look up a specific property, you can click market trends. And market trends takes all the market research that is normally on your guys' property reports, and you can now see it in here. So now directly inside of the property, you can now see the deal, right? Get your photos, take notes, skip trace, sale comp it, rent comp it, insurance estimate it, and get all your market trends here to see what's going on, including market, the median home price, price per square foot, days on market, new listings, but also population and income growth in the same area before you go into your daily analyzer. So all of that is now updated in the product. And finally, as you guys can see, we've added linked properties. So now if you're looking for a property and you want to see if this person owns other assets, this will show up here. So for example, let's say I'm looking to buy from an investor, right? So I'm looking for a absentee out-of-state owner. And I pick this property. Right, I gotta find someone that owns multiple properties here. Let's see if I can find an example. No. See if I can find an example here. No, not seeing that. All right, so I'm not finding one that has it. But when you guys have a look at a property, if that owner owns multiple other properties, this will show up and it will say linked property. So you can now click that and it will show you a list of every other property that person owns. So if you want to target someone that has a larger portfolio or take down multiple assets, you'll be able to filter for those and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you own 123 Main Street, but what about, 567 Main Street? And target people that have more. In addition, what we'll be adding in is on the filters, when you guys are looking for your properties, you will add in a seller motivation with a owns multiple property filter. So that way, when you click on it, if you want to only look for people that have portfolios, you'll be able to filter for those people specifically. So a couple of those are all brand new to the product, as well as a bunch of different bug fixes, a bunch of other additional tweaks and improvements that have all come out. So the biggest things, linked properties, the market reports, the rent comps, and a bunch of other bugs and tweaks have come out today as well. If you guys have any questions about those new features or how they work, please let me know. I can also tell you that we are working on our LLC skip tracing right now. So we just got the documentation for us to start being able to skip trace behind LLCs. So what we have done is we've gone to people like Batch Leads, we've gone to Skip Genie, we've gone to all the major companies that do skip tracing. We found out who everybody uses. We back tested against all the different providers, and then we went to the parent companies and we found the people who are providing the skip tracing that all these other guys are selling it to you, and we negotiated a discount on their services. So we're going straight to the source for the best skip tracing in the country for the LLC component to make it even, to bring it to you guys. And again, of course, it's still free 100 times a month. So those are all the upgrades that those are all the major noticeable upgrades that you guys are going to see when you're logging in the product. And as a reminder, we are going to get some new what we'll do is push some tweak pushes, this week, as well as going into the next level of features that we're going to be showcasing. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I'll just read off more stuff that I have.
I do have questions. You mentioned that that companies can white label the, like right here where it says
Yep.
next home. Um, are we able to do that too? Like for example,
So
me or another
so
user.
for individuals, you guys can white label your reports. So when you guys have when you guys are sending out a report, what you can do, this is an example we made for the COO of this company. You guys in your profile section can upload your own picture. You can then change by clicking edit report. You can put your name, your email, your website, your phone number, and the colors that you want on your reports. So when you log into BrightInvestor, the internal, what we white labeled, that's only reserved for our corporate partners that are buying multiple accounts of our product. But for example, if I go and I pull a new report, let's say Columbus, Ohio, and we do a search. And so you see when you guys first load in, this is gonna say loading until it's done. And then and then when that's done and the skip trace is done, all this come together. So if we click view report and we generate that, based on what you do in the profile, this is what it looks like. So now this top banner has the different colors. They'll have the logo. And, right, we have our sales comps, we have our rent comps, we have our deal analyzer, the market research, and then down here is your name, your photo, your website, all that stuff. So this is how you can white label it from the outside facing component. So we do this with people like Keller Williams or eXp Realty or property management companies out there who are looking to, grow their presence.
Okay. And also when you mentioned when you went to the what was it, to the rent comps,
Yep.
um and you started and you were showing us about the the leads, the comps, that if we didn't like some of the comps we could take them on and off. I didn't
Yep.
really know what the difference was in what we had before and what you said that the new feature was.
Yeah. So before this, when you went to rent comps, you would have these filters and it would say this data. But there was no way, and all the different comps that we were using, you had to download a rent comp report to see them. And if you said like, oh, this one's too big or this one's too small, this one's not a good comp, you couldn't turn it off. So now we've taken all those comps and we put them into this table and we've made a map out of it. So if this property is 2,000 square feet, you might say, you know what? I don't want to see. I can filter my comps based on square footage, and I might say, you know what? I don't want to see any of these really small ones. So I'm going to turn off all. I'm going to turn off all of these properties that I think are too small to be a good comp. That's fine because we want you guys to be able to be in control of your analysis, especially if
Okay.
you're going to go out there and raise money or partner with someone or want to get a better idea. I can say, you know what? I really only want to see comps that are going to be, as close as possible to my size. And we've got like 50 comps here. So
Okay.
I'm just turning off all the ones that I don't like. So I want them to be similar. As you can
As
see,
as close as 2,187, right?
yeah.
Square.
So you see, like by turning off some of the smaller comps, I'm turning off all these smaller ones. My average rent's getting higher and higher. You see, all I'm doing is turning off these smaller ones. I'm getting closer. I can also do the
Okay.
same thing as saying, you know what, maybe I want to turn off the comps that are really far away. Like, you know what, I don't want to look at comps that are more than maybe a mile away, and that's fine. So I'll turn them off. And if I do that, you guys see that my average rent's going up. So as I focus on comps that are actually more similar in size and close to my property, my ability to rent it out is going up.
Okay, these are for rent, not for sale. The sale comps, we could do this, but never for the rent
Yes,
until today.
exactly.
Okay,
So this is sales
that's where
comps.
I got it all confused.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah. So
yeah,
this is sales comps. Now
yeah.
this is rent comps.
Rent
Now you
comp.
can do the same thing for rent comps that you used to be able to do for sales comps. You can do both now.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So you can see, okay, great. I'm getting so here's my subject property, right? There's my property right there. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, okay, interesting. I see I got one property that's like right next by. So I'm gonna go ahead and look for that must be this one right here. 525 right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or one of these ones. Oh, right, that one right there. So 525 South Lazelle. It's a 3 bedroom house, 2,300 square feet that was renting for 4 grand. Wow. Okay. And this one right here, that one over there is renting for approximately 3,400, and that one's small, right? So you can now get a really good idea of what the best comp is, so you get even more accurate on your analysis.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
so we've been hard at work with this.
Yeah.
We pushed a lot of, and again, we'll be releasing some tweaks. And so remember, if you guys are logging in today to use a product, make sure you clear your cache and refresh it to make sure you have the new version. We are working on a push to be able to make it so you never have to refresh your cache again to get the new version. That's just a lot of back end work I won't bore you guys with. So this as a refresher, when you log in today, what you will notice is linked properties are there. The notes that you enter in the product now get saved. So if you type in a note here and walk away, next time you log in, that note will still be there. Your rent comps can now be filtered. Your market trends are now included inside your property window. So you can quickly see what's going on. And that's something you're going to most notice before our next release, probably in about 10 days or so. So I'll quickly go over with you guys what you should expect to see on the next version before we get into more questions. Um, but we are expecting to release more property photos. We have a way now where we'll be able to take properties from Zillow essentially and put them inside the property window. So you'll be able to just click a button and see all the photos we have for both the interior and exterior of the property. So that'll be coming out very soon. The launch of the Burr seller finance and co-living calculators as well. The LLC skip tracing, and we are improving the PDFs to make it a little bit prettier, a little bit more simple. But all that is coming out at our next release, as well as the ability to see here. See here. What else do you guys care about? We're adding our average days on market filter, the crime pins. And a big one is your ability to save preferences in the calculators. So a lot of you guys have written in saying, every single time you do analysis, you maybe use 5% for your vacancy or 5% for your CapEx, and you don't like that. We always say 7%. So moving forward, you'll be able to save your settings essentially. So every time you analyze a deal, it automatically does 5% or 0% or whatever you want to do. So that will be coming in for you guys to make it a little bit faster and simpler. As well as the ability to edit more of the data. So what we have done is we went and we actually we met with the folks over at PropStream, Deal Machine, Privy, Batch Leads, PropWire, every data provider out there, and we did a back test of information, and we found that every single provider, including us, when we looked at our sample properties, everyone was wrong somewhere. For example, PropStream called a single family house a triplex. Deal Machine said the square footage was twice as big as it really was. Batch leads that the owner was a owner from 2 times one, right? So we found that every single property software is gaps places. So what we have decided to do is make you guys even more in control because no one's smarter than you when it comes to being able to tell if something's right or wrong. So what we've done is when you go into the property window and you see this pencil icon, you can now change everything in this window. So if you see it listed online and that their BrightInvestor says it's listed for $799, but 24 hours ago they dropped the price by $10,000, you can now come in here and change that. If we say a property is on market but it's really off market, no problem. You can just change that. And if we say a property was listed 1,000 days ago and is really listed 900 days ago, no problem. You can change that. So you've complete control to basically make sure that whatever you see in other places matches what you see in BrightInvestor. And what we're doing is we're expanding that to both the property feature section and the quick insight section. So you will be able to completely customize or edit any data. And about that is if Chris logs into a property and sees something that's wrong or he wants to change, when Chris changes it in his property, it doesn't change it for anybody else. So Chris, that's only your data. The second you do that, you become the only person on BrightInvestor that has the most accurate updated information across any platform because you're the one that put it right in. So we're making it exceptionally quick to change or edit or tweak anything you see in here based off your experience. So those are all some additional things that are coming out that you should expect to see relatively soon. I'm gonna take a sip of my hot cocoa because I've been talking for a while. All right. Any other questions that I can help with?
Regarding the software or just in general?
It could be general. It could be about the new updates. It could just be about deal analysis, market analysis. You guys have anything you want to go over? Happy to go over it. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew exactly what was new to the product today, what you can be expecting to see, because now the new version is live.
Oh, well, I had a question about wholesaling. I'm not sure if that's what you're
Yeah,
referring to,
let's
if
do it
it's the time to ask.
for sure.
So recently I've been into wholesaling, but because I'm on a budget, I still have a business credit card that I'm paying down. I'm at 18,500 right now, and I still have a lot to pay, but I want to get into wholesaling using BrightInvestor without me breaking the bank, you know? So um I was uh I was looking forward if you could highlight how we could use BrightInvestor to um do wholesaling, um and
Let's do it. Sure.
be, you know, really
Yeah.
optimize. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to use Brand Investor to wholesale, this is exactly what I recommend you guys do. First off, if you already have an area you know you want to wholesale in, great, go there, and we can skip this first step. If we're trying to figure out which parts make most sense to wholesale, this is what I want you to do. Right now, flippers, who are a lot of people you're going to be wholesaling to, are in a tough spot. One of the biggest flippers I know, he did 5 luxury flips last year, called us and said of the last of the 5 flips they did, 4 of them lost money and only one broke even. Part of that is because of labor costs and days on market. So what I want to know is if you are going to wholesale a property to someone, I'm going to click days on market first because flippers don't want to be doing projects anywhere where it's going to take a long time for them to get their property sold. So what we can do with our new days on market filter and how it's been updated is look at which areas are moving properties the fastest. Okay. So everywhere that you see, right, where the median is 47 days on market, right? Over here, it's taking 31 days. Over here, it's taking 22 days, right? So we want to look which parts of town are seeing the fastest times to sell properties. And for me, that's the zip code. This was as of November. So we updated our data. So this is November 2024, right? 43232. I'm looking for right up here too. Okay. 43235, 43085, and 43231. These are all zip codes. Your properties are selling faster than average, which means it's more attractive for a flipper. So the first thing I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to take that area and I'm going to go ahead and drop my little pin in here, and I'm going to do an income check. Flippers prefer to be in areas of higher income because they can do higher remodels, get bigger margins. And what we see here is this area is definitely has above average income, 71,000, when the median household is around 55,000. So it's getting higher and higher income with really fast income growth. Remember, my rule of thumb is 15% over 5 years. This area is going crazy, absolutely crazy right now. So it's what we know is we have higher income people that can afford bigger houses with also short time to sell. The next thing I'm looking at is appreciation. So if you can take a property and showcase to a flipper, hey, look, this area is appreciating well, you're going to be able to pad your margins. That makes them more comfortable buying a property from you. And all we're trying to do is find areas where flippers are being active. And clearly, this is consistent gains, right? Consistent month over month, it's up 8%, 9% per year. This is very obviously a part of town where income's going up. It's fast to sell a property right now, and home values going, which makes a flipper more and more confident. So I'm feeling pretty good about this as a potential area. And just to double check myself, I'm going to do a really quick schools check. And so when I look at, oh, we're getting more people coming in here. So that might be looks like that's down right now for my new push. Okay. I'm gonna push a fix for that, guys. There's like schools having a tweak right now to fix that. But I will also check franchises while I'm here. if this is a attractive area, I should see my Starbucks, I should see my Trader Joe's, I should see my Whole Foods, I should see my Chick-fil-A, I should see my Target. Yeah. So all of these franchises are our higher income facing franchises, which again means we have higher income folks moving in, which means they have discretionary income, which means that they can afford bigger houses, which means that flippers can have bigger margins. So all that's to say, this is the part of town where a flipper would like to be selling a property. So now let's find out what we should be doing. In this area, the most common type of product is oh, I forgot to mention this, guys. Whoops. I'm gonna pause for a second. This is the new asset type feature. This was new. So you guys were asking us how you can find which parts of town have the most multifamily or most single family. Forgot to mention this. This is the new asset type. So all you have to do is come here and click, let's say, single family. And what this will do is highlight what parts of the city have the most single family. So, for example, every area in dark green has the most single family. These are all the single family properties are. And then we break it out for you by zip code. So it's all, you can completely filter it by every single zip code in the city. Or if you want multifamily, like 2 to 4 units, it's now going to find which parts of town have the most multifamily. So everywhere you see dark green is where the most 2 to 4 unit buildings are in the entire city. So you guys want a really fast way to find those areas? We built that. So clearly this part has over 3,578 housing units that are 2 to 4 unit buildings. So when I'm looking for this area, right, and I'm saying, you know what, I'm interested in the zip code. I want to know, what's going on in this area. I can check out to see what kind of housing it has, and then also the bedroom count. What kind of properties are common here? So what I'm looking for here is then say, okay, great. Let's go ahead and start searching for some off-market deals. So I'm looking for single families that I can buy for no more than what the property's average, the median household value is here. I'm looking to look for properties that are about 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I only want to look for properties that are in this zip code. And I want to look for people that are motivated to sell. So if I want it for 10 years or more. Now I'm going to look for people who have a lot of equity. So I'm giving them a benefit and looking for absentee owners. And when I search for those properties, I got 5 deals in this area that all meet my criteria. So Chris, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take those properties. I'm going to add them to my list right off the cuff. Oh, hello. And create that list and add them here. So all I want you to do at this point, before we get into the analysis, because these properties they meet the right criteria, go to if you want to call them one by one, you can. Just click on one and then click skip trace and give this guy a call. Or Chris, if you want to be able to, go ahead and do a little bit faster and just run down the list and see which ones make sense. Oh, I'll pause right there. So Chris, you know how we pulled this? You see how it says linked properties?
Yeah, I see it.
Yep. So we click that. So this guy owns 6 different properties. Here's every single deal that you know. So when you call this guy, you know that he owns all of these other properties in this area. Pretty easy. So now you're not just if you do one deal with him, you could potentially do 5 more. And if you want, Chris, we can also add these to your list too, and double down on those.
Like, you mean ask him, like, hey, if you're selling this one, are you selling any others?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're
Uh,
going off markets, you can say if you reach a deal with him here, it's very easy for you to be able to say, hey, look, I'm glad that we were able to get that one taken care of. I noticed you own a couple others in the area. If you thought about selling those either, and now you turn one deal into 6. Okay. So if you want to skip trace it individually, just click here, or just go to your list and report section, and here's your wholesale deals. Go ahead and click download, skip trace owner, and download that list. It'll give you all their phone numbers. So that's how you get in touch with these people. And Chris, let's say that once someone calls you and says, hey, I am actually interested in selling, right? And let's say they're interested. At that point in time, all you have to do is just put in the address, right? Just put in the address, and let's say, it's like this deal. Let's say they call you back, they say, oh yeah, I'm interested. Okay, great. What property you calling about? Oh, I'm calling about this one. Uh, awesome. Pop in the address, open up the property details, and have a conversation with them. Oh, this is the wrong property. Oops. This is the wrong. There we
And
go.
then we use the wholesale calculator or
Exactly. Exactly. So this way we can pop open our property details here and start asking questions like, hey, tell me more about you. Use third, uh, Missouri. But, so that's when so I don't know another tweak from our new version. See, yeah. So see, I'll be launching some fixes today. Always happens. So once you have that guy on the phone call, Chris, you say, hey, yeah, tell me about you. And you just take all your notes. You just take all your notes about this guy. I like, oh, he's married, wants to sell and move to Florida, interested in an offer, interested in offer. Okay. Like, okay, great. You know what? Let me go ahead and run some numbers for you. The best thing for me to do is you ask all your questions in here, right? You come over here, and then when you're on the call from out, you can pull your comps, you can pull your rent comps, right? You pull your insurance, you check your market trends, okay, what's going on, and you come over here to your wholesale calculator. Say, hey, I think the ARV of this thing is right around like $130,000. Okay, great. For me to be able to make $10,000 and do these repairs, these types of work, I got to offer this guy $61,000.
the percentage of the ARV, that's like the standard that we
That's
use
standard.
or
75% of ARV is a standard.
okay, yeah. Because I usually see it at like 70 or sometimes even 60, but it's my first time that I see it at this price for the 75.
So yeah, this everyone has a little bit different criteria, but and usually about 70 to 75% is what people use. So if you want to be more conservative, you just use 70%. And so you take your ARV times 70% times your repairs minus how much you want to make. And then
Mhm.
this right here is estimating this right here is estimating what your flipper or your end buyer is going to be paying for it. So this assumes that they're going to get a loan for $84,000 and they're going to pay a hard money lender 10% and they're going to have paid 2 points. It assumes that their flipper is going to is going to spend about 3 months doing the project. And so you're going to sell to the flipper for $54,000. You're going to make 10 grand. Flipper buy, and then we're going to sell it to the flipper for 64,000. And then the flipper is going to make about 25,000 is the estimate.
One question, how would we know that they're gonna use a hard money lender and they're gonna give them that rate of 10%? Like
Because
if
we've spoken to dozens of hard money lenders, and I just spoke with three more yesterday. This is the going rate generally. So anywhere between 10 and 14%, anywhere between 0 and 4 points. So what you hear in the industry a lot is 10 and 2, which is 10% interest loan with 2% buyer points. So this is a really quick estimator on if your flipper is using hard money. Most of them do. Most people that are buying flips are doing hard money. Usually, you get the occasional person who doesn't, but all this is telling you is basically giving you estimates and what your their profit's going to be. This doesn't impact what you should be offering this person. This is just for their benefit.
okay.
So that's what I would be doing. And then once you've done all of this, and you're going to have a conversation with potential buyer, we're going to flip this thing out. Then you go ahead and generate your report. And this is where you have your report with your info, with your branding, all that stuff on here. And you go ahead and send this to your potential buyer. And of course, you can hide whatever you want, Chris. So what I would recommend, right? Hide the owner name, hide whatever you want to keep yourself private and protect yourself, right?
How do we hide that? Like
I'll
um
show you right now. So
Okay.
whenever you create a report, all you have to do is go to your lists and reports section and find this deal. So this deal was 205 East 3rd Street. So right here, see this little settings icon?
Yeah.
Click settings and you can hide anything you want.
Oh,
So for this
okay.
deal, if you're like, I don't want them to know who owns it, I don't want them to know to see the sales comps, I don't want them to see my notes that I took, and I don't want them to see the loan or their motivation, hit save. And then now, whenever you create a new report for that property, the new
Mm.
report won't have any of that details on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll just remove that section.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can go ahead and do those things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hmm.
All right. Any other, I hope that helps.
Yeah,
Are
it
there any
does.
other perfect?
Yeah.
And as a reminder, with the new version, I know there's a lot of new things in here. If you guys have anything, any questions, or you'll be getting an email in the next 24 hours with a line by line item of everything new that gets summarized in one little place. So you'll get that whole list. Um, but yeah,
Um,
that's how I'd use it
one
wholesaling.
more. Oh yeah. One more thing. So the wholesaling here is all done by cold calling, by skip tracing, off market properties, right?
Yep, correct.
Never on market properties. Like I think you told me before, we never call on market. But what's the reason behind that?
So what we do, so if you have a property that if there's a property listed on market, you cannot cold call the owner of a property that's listed on market. That showcases that you're trying to go around the agent that they have a buyer representation or listing agreement with. The agent
Mhm.
will, if you try to call that owner, you're going to get a very angry phone call from that agent. They might try to pursue legal action because they think you're trying to steal your client. So what you can do is if you see a property that was on market no longer go on market, like they delist it, you can absolutely cold call that person then and say, hey, I saw this property's on market anymore. Want to call you, see what's going on, see if I can make you an offer. That's totally applicable. Yes. Now there is a strategy known as wholetailing, where you can take properties that you see on the market, put them on a contract, do like a little bit of a clean out, a little bit of a kind of a prep and cleaning of the property, and then turn around and list it again very quickly. But that's a bit more advanced strategy. Um, but you should be primarily you should be focusing on off market cold calling for your wholesale.
Okay. Okay, got it. Hmm.
All right, any other questions I can answer today? I know I've shown a lot of new stuff that's on the product now, and I'm sure you guys want to go explore that and have fun with it.
Anyone else have questions, guys? Come on. I know you guys are here because you guys must have one question.
Yeah, it's okay, Jason, what's up?
Um, I have one. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, most likely. When I put in an address and like enter the address, sometimes it comes up with the property information and sometimes it doesn't, even though it's the same property I'm looking up. I don't know why that is, but
So you put an address, sometimes it comes back to property, and sometimes it doesn't.
yes, with property information. Sometimes it'll say the property has no details, other times it gives you everything.
So when you type in the address, will the property detail button show up or does it not show up?
It shows up, but like here I just did it says no property details available for the and then the
Let's
address.
see.
And other times it has the property information.
Okay. Will you email me the addresses you're doing that for and send it to me? Just
Sure.
as an example, because it could be something on our back end um that we need to take a tweak at. So let me go ahead and take a look at that for you.
It's the one we did last weekend.
Oh, okay,
Actually,
okay.
Wednesday. I mean, you could try it now if you want. Like right what you're looking at. I'll put it in the address bar. It's
Yeah.
7111
So what's the address again?
7111. No, 71.
Oh, sorry, can you put it in the chat for me?
Sure.
Yeah, because please let me know if you guys have any other if you guys have seen anything else like that. Whenever we do a new version, every single time we do a new version, something breaks. Always doesn't matter what it is, whenever we push a whole bunch of new code, something always breaks somewhere. So there's going to be some tweaks that we need to go in there and refix because we do some new stuff. So if you have anything like that, email me immediately or send us a message on our chat. But this is what we want to make sure we fix all those things.
All right, something's goofy going on with my Zoom, so it's gonna look weird, but here it is. Every time I hit return or do anything, it drops me down a line.
Okay, so right here, Everhart, open property details. Okay, yeah, right there. So when you click open property details, it's not opening it up.
Well, I see I didn't
That
even get the
is,
open property details. Mine says there are no details.
oh, so it's not showing you it's not showing you the button at all. Okay.
It literally says no property details available.
And you're sure that the property the address you're entering in is correct, right? I know it seems like a dumb question,
Yes.
but I just want to make sure I'm
No,
asking.
no,
Okay.
that's fine. And if I do it enough times, boom, then it's there.
Okay.
Don't change anything. So it could be something wrong with my computer. I don't think it is, but because sometimes it's there and sometimes
No,
it's
I believe in radical responsibility. Let me go ahead and take that to the team and see what's going on here about that property in particular. So let me write that down. Go ahead and take some notes here. And I'll meet with the team today about that. And do that as well. Okay, Chicago. Right, we'll say sometimes the property detail button doesn't show up. Or okay. Got it. Jason, I will go and take a look at that for you.
sure.
I appreciate that as always, my brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for all that information. I put the offer in Thursday. So hopefully that
Yeah, well,
works.
that's great, man. I'm glad to hear that.
And I broke it I did all your stuff. I broke it down 3 different ways, saved all the PDFs and sent it to my realtor and then talked to her to try to explain to her how to explain it to them. And so hopefully it goes well.
Absolutely. What was your realtor's feedback to all the data you gave her?
She was happy to learn some new things because she didn't know half of it.
That's why it's so important because she's representing you and
Look at
you're bringing all
that.
the education to the
He's
table.
teaching the real estate agent.
Yep.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Well, I hope that works out for you, man. We ran all the numbers. I'm pretty pumped. Um, I'm pretty pumped to see that one work out. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Any other questions I can help with, guys? Happy to open it up. I'm taking notes of all the things.
I have a suggestion. Well, it's something I'm curious about. When we go search for a market, like let's say we have no idea about what market to choose, but we want to look at we want to compare the 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 data from from the city, but instead of the city, like the states, so that we're able to see like a more macro level of
States
of,
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah.
So we've talked about doing something like that. We do have a basic market finder tool that we built, plus the compare markets feature that we're revamping and tweaking it because it needs a lot more build out, in my opinion.
Mm,
State wise, what I can do is I can send you the list of all the states that I analyzed that I felt were good investments. There's a list of about 21 states that I felt met some decent criteria. I can forward you that list if you guys would like that list as well. List of states for emerging markets. So I made a list of every state that I felt had emerging markets inside of it based off our definition of emerging markets. I can also send you guys the list of markets with the most multifamily, like I said I was going to do. And I can send you that. Right now, we're focusing a lot on like the individual, like niche, more like side of the things. But I'm happy to work with you at one point, to help target zero in more on a specific market.
okay.
You got it.
I
All
look,
right. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I said I look forward to the progress.
Absolutely. It's been fun. I mean, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if any of you guys were here when we first launched Bright Investor, a year and a half ago now. I might have to do an event. But in January we are, as a reminder, we are doing our new release event in January, which is where we're bringing everybody together to, showcase some of the new stuff we've been working on the back end, and tweak some stuff. So kind of like a new year event. So make sure you guys are there for that. Um, but in that event, I'm gonna go back and show a little bit of what Bright Investor used to look like, which was crazy. You guys will not believe how much this thing has changed in a year and a half. I mean, you guys have already seen how much it's changed just in the last 4 months, as a product. So there's a lot of upgrades coming out, and like I mentioned, these sessions over the last 2 months have given us both the version we released today, the version we're releasing in about 2 weeks, and the version we're going to releasing in the beginning of January. So we've got a lot of upgrades that are still coming out, based on all your feedback, as we roll out this year, with a lot of more upgrades. And for those who have asked about this, I will make this clear. We are planning a mobile version. Okay, making sure I'm saying that out loud. We are planning a mobile friendly version so you can use this on the go. The only thing we have to do there is that's going to be a late 2025 thing, likely, simply because when it comes to building a mobile version of this product, we basically, once we're done building the web version, we essentially have to start over for the mobile. It's basically a complete rewrap. And it's taken us over 3 years to build this version. So we basically need to have the web version as done or as complete as possible, before we start the mobile version. Otherwise, we're basically doing two products at the same time. So I'm letting you know it is coming. We're working on it, and we're currently doing some testing on what works the most for a mobile version. So if you guys really want a mobile version to happen, the most beneficial thing you could do for me is write me an email telling me what parts of Bright Investor specifically you want to have on your phone. And what specific pieces do you need when you're out and about? So do you need everything, or do you only need a few particular components? So the more specific you can tell me about what it is you want, the more easier it is for me to build. Nick, got a question. Do you have a recording of these sessions? Yes, we do have a recording of these sessions. We do record it every single time. I will get Brain in touch with you to tell you where all the recordings live. But as Bright Investor members, you guys have access to these, recordings week after week. All right. Any other questions I can go ahead and address for you guys at all? Again, I'll say one more time. You get the email probably in the next 24 hours with the new version, highlighting everything. Expect to get another push or a new version probably tomorrow, next day, tweaking anything that broke with this new version as well. And we should have another 2 versions in the next month, with the next 2 sets of features that you guys asked for coming out. So get excited.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Donato.
You got it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, thank you so much for being here. I'll be back on Wednesday to chit chat and have our next session. So remember, if you have a deal you're trying to analyze, market you're trying to analyze, strategy you're trying to analyze, suggestions of how we can make this better or what have you, go ahead and give me show up. We'll ask some questions now.
Okay, I definitely will.
Perfect. All right, guys. I will see you then. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thanks, you
Okay.
too.
All right, thank
Alrighty.
you. Bye.
You got it. Bye.